Good afternoon, everybody. Just give everybody a minute here. How's everybody doing today? Really good. I'm going to sip my coffee. I'm way late today with my coffee. Erica's home today. She went to school and then she felt sick, and so she came home and now she's fine. So she may be helping me a little bit. How is everybody? I don't, of course, I honestly, Facebook is driving me a little bit bonkers. I can't see if anyone's commenting. You got it. And at least my video is working sideways now, but there's like, I can see that people are on, but I cannot see any comments. And I am on my iPad as well, so let's just see if we can. It's telling me stars are enabled. I don't even know what stars are. Oh, I see a comment. Oh, Cynthia, you have your tea and you're ready. Good. Okay, so I see your comment. Um, don't hit the star thing. I don't even know what that is. I did not enable anything, but apparently it's enabled. Um, but we're here with Scrap Shots today, and we're doing some Christmas cards. Last week, Erica helped. She helped me to do some backgrounds, and we were using the mica stains. So I thought, why don't we just keep using the mica stains? And we will actually use the Better Press. This is so easy. It's crazy. Like, it's easier than just stamping. Anyway, I'm really enjoying the Better Press. Hello, Tamara, and welcome to anyone else who's on. It's not letting me see anyone else, so it's a surprise. Anyway, this is what we're making today. We are going to make some Christmas cards with this beautiful background from Spellbinders. It's the Evergreen Embossing Folder, and it's a really deep 3D folder. You can see that the embossed lines are really, really detailed. That's the back of it there. So very pretty. We're going to do some spraying with some distress sprays. So I've got some watercolor paper here, and aren't these pretty? You can see that shine, especially once they dry. Yes, so pretty. And then we're going to pull out some watercolor pencils from Tim Holtz. Does anybody have these? They're very fun, and I've kind of figured out how I like to color with them, which is nice. And I think you have to use stuff in order to figure out how you like to use it. We're going to pull out the Better Press plates. These are the Christmas icons. I really liked these because I felt like you could make really quick and simple, easy cards. And I've seen some samples on the Spellbinders website where they just had the image and then the sentiment on a little square card. And I think that would be great for like tags or quick little cards. But also, I thought they're also fun to kind of dress up, or if you want to spend a little bit more time making something, but not something that's super detailed. Let's see here. There's my comments. You want to see how the new tool works? Oh, awesome, Glenda. So the Better Press, do you have that yet? Or are you thinking about it and just want to get some extra information? When you get the Better Press, it comes with this base, and then you get this top part. So this is just magnetic, and that comes off, and this is where you put your paper, and I'll walk you through how to do that. And then it just is magnetically attached, and it goes back onto the base, and then we run that directly through our spellbinders. I have the Platinum 6, or you can use Big Shot, and I'll show you how that goes through. And then you can get these Better Press plates. So these are really fun because there's lots of different sentiments, and there's images. Some sets come with dies, but you can also foil these. So if you have the Glimmer machine, then you can do some foiling with them, which would be really pretty as well. And you'll see how quick those work. And then I have some of the Better Press inks. They are an archival ink created by Ranger. So they're permanent, and then you can go ahead and watercolor, which is why I thought we'd pull out those Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. And I don't know what the set is called, but it's the one with Wildberry, Tawny Brown, Saffron, and French Blue. There's a couple different sets. The Better Press itself comes with the black, so you get the ink, you get a sample plate, you get the machine, and some paper, and you also get some Spellbinders tape, which is amazing tape. If you haven't tried that, the yellow best ever craft tape. All right, let's see. You're thinking about it. Well, it's a good idea to watch, videos and just see if that's something you're going to use for sure, and whether it's something you like. All right, so what we'll do is let's spray, and then Erica can help me with some sprays. First, we're going to use our embossing folder. So this is quite a large folder, and I have watercolor paper cut down to 3.5 by 4 3/4. So I can easily fit these in sideways and do 2 at a time. And then what we need is we need that white piece on the bottom. So if you have the universal system, it's a little bit longer than the regular one. And we are going to use the embossing folder sandwich here with just the A plate, our embossing folder. And I always feel like it's a good idea just to shift it a tiny bit so it's not completely flat going through. And then we've got our D adapter plate. Hello, Irene. How are you? You've got a helper today. Yes. So you never know. You can foil the Better Press stamps. Yes. So they don't recommend that you foil. Sorry, they don't recommend you use the foiling plates in your Better Press, but you can certainly use the Better Press plates in your foiling machine. I think the foiling plates might just be a tiny bit thicker, and there's, I guess, just an issue. They felt like they didn't want to recommend that. So, but you can foil, and they foil beautifully. So we're going to run this through. And hello, Lorraine. All right, and Erica's going to be my helper, and she's going to push that through. It's a little thicker. Here, let's put this on the ground because it's shaking the camera. And we'll push it through. Okay, you can finish it. And then you can, you can take it out and show everybody. So Erica went today, but then her tummy was hurting at school, and so she came home. And now she seems to be fine. So beautiful. So that is watercolor paper, and that's the back side. So we are going to do our sprays. And it took a little while to dry, I felt like, so that's why I pre-did some of these, but I wanted to show you the colors that I used. So Erica's going to be right back, and she's going to help me spray these. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll spritz a little bit of water. So we have to look at our little recipe card here. So the first one is going to be, what color do you have? Okay, so we've got Frosty Mint, and then we used a little bit of this, so that's what we'll use. We'll do that one for a different one. So you spray this one here, you shake that one. So it's a good idea to really give these a good shake when you're using them. And you can see if the mica has settled on the bottom, that you just want to keep shaking. I don't think it matters if you shake it back and forth or up and down. Sometimes I'll get a little bit in the cover, and I just use a tissue and just wipe that out. And let's see, hello Lori. It took a while to figure out how to get here today. Yeah, I don't know. It's been very, I think Facebook had an update, and then yeah, at least we've got the video going landscape now. Shaylin came home early. Aw, she's gonna make some pom-poms. That's a great idea. All right, so Erica's gonna spray Frosty Mint over the background. So this is the one that we're kind of going for here. It's going to be a little bit different, of course, but keep it in there. Yeah, give it a good spray, and then what I like to do is just wipe off the nozzle. Yeah, but this one is really dark, so we just want like a few little splatters, not too much. Oh, that's good. Okay, that's perfect. That was better than mine because I got way too much on mine. And then we can give it a little spritz with water. So the more you spritz it, the more it's going to blend. And then the more that you let it dry, it will dry. So this one, you can see I've got some splatters. I've got some areas where it just dried. And once it dries is when you can really see that mica. I think we could even spray this a little bit more just to get it really moving. Now, if you feel like you've got a lot of one color, usually I would do this with a paper towel, but I don't have any paper towel here, so this is just a tissue, and I can just dab up a little bit of the darker spots, and I can go ahead and dry that with a heat tool, or I can just let it dry. So we're just going to set it aside right now. Not that one. No. And you can do it. Yeah. And then for the next one, okay, we've got Unraveled and Fallen Acorn. So these are the Halloween mica stains and the holiday mica stains, the newest ones. So Unraveled is this one here, kind of like a gold color. And then we've got a little bit of the Fallen Acorn. So again, the main background, I wanted to be more of a gold, and then just with a hint of this brown in it. Okay, so now we can grab our next one. And if I was kind of just doing a process of doing these, I would spray them, let them dry for a little bit, soak in, and then just give them a shot with the heat gun. Unless you wanted to set everything aside just to dry. So we've got some water on that. We want to do the unraveled. Same as that, where we're doing that mainly, and then just a few light sprays of the dark. Oh, we might have gotten some spray in. And so I'll show you what happens if this happens, and normally these ones don't, but sometimes I think a little bit of mica can go up into the sprayer. I would just take it off and soak it, but because we want to use this right now, we're actually going to grab a paintbrush. So why don't you grab one that's down on that second shelf, the second shelf here in the back. There should be a paintbrush. And then if you just soak this with a little bit of water and press it, it will clean right out. Not that one. Sometimes I also will just take my water sprayer and spray that and then put the cover on. And then just that water soaking in there will actually be enough to unclog it. We'll try it after. I don't know, this might be, well, it might be okay. Okay. Well, it's okay. Because we're just, okay, you use that and just spread it around. You can also add some more water, get that moving. This is watercolor paper, and so it's pretty forgiving. Put a little bit more on. I don't think we need a whole lot more. There. But if you have any of your sprays or mists or anything that aren't cooperating, just get out your paintbrush or get a little dish to pour some in, and then you can pour it back afterwards. Perfect. And then we have Fallen Acorn. And then this is just water cleanup, so we can put this in our water dish after. Okay, how's that looking? And this this is beautiful just as is. If you just wanted a really pretty gold color. Yeah, that's beautiful. And just, oh, that's good. Yeah, I think that's good. Just put the cover on. It's okay. I'll get it after. Okay, and we'll spray a little bit more water so it really moves. Keep it in there though. That's good. And then we'll twist that. So I know Erica and Amy don't have any school tomorrow. Does Shaylin have school tomorrow? You dab that a little bit there. I think it's okay. It's going to be nice when it dries. Okay, so our next one, wipe your hands on that, is going to be our last one. No, we've got two more. We'll do the red. So for the red, we've got Yuletide, Sugary Gumdrop, and Frozen Fog. This is fun just to go through and do a bunch of backgrounds for sure. Okay, you mix one, I'll mix one. So we have the long weekend with Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. William's off, Shaylin has school, and a day off on Tuesday. Okay. So when I was planning these out, I kind of just thought about what colors I wanted primarily, and then I tend to have a softer color in the background and then a little bit of accent colors that are highlighting.
this one first?
Yeah, we could do that one first. Sugary gumdrop. Oh, thank you for remembering. That is beautiful. I think even just like that, wouldn't that be pretty? Gonna leave it like that, or add it a little tiny bit of red. And maybe we don't need we'll use this one on the next one. Oh, that's good. And then add your little bit of water. You want to leave it like that? All right, so we're gonna leave this one like this. That is pretty. And then the last one is going to be Phantom Mist, Frozen Fog, and so Phantom Mist is this kind of blue-gray. These are similar, but a little bit different. This is more of like a silver or cool gray. You could probably get away with just using one.
Juniper berry.
And juniper berry, yeah. So the darker one. All right, do you want me to shake one of those? So we'll spray it. And if you're using just regular cardstock, you're going to get more of that splotchy look because the colors aren't going to move around. But I think even doing like one color on different backgrounds, embossed backgrounds, would be gorgeous. Okay, so I think let's do
This one?
that one like here and here. And then we'll do the other one in the other spots, the other light one. That's pretty. It's a little bit darker, a little bit more blue. And then we've got, and we'll just do a little bit of that. Oh, I like that. Okay. So put the water on. That's beautiful if you want the water. Okay. It's definitely more of like that watercolor look. Isn't that pretty? That's so pretty. And here I did a little bit less of the juniper berry and more of just the silver background. So you can definitely get different looks, but as it dries, it's going to soften as well. So we're going to set this aside and use the ones that we already have, but that's going to give you an idea. Just going to move these so don't. That folder is nice, hey? Using the sprays and dropped an open one on the floor. Oh no. Yeah, you definitely need to keep the cover on with any sprays.
Where's the one that you were soaking?
I don't know. We'll check it after.
Old, right?
Yeah. Okay, so now we can do our better press. So I've already done this little car, and then I've done the little shine with Sparkle and Shine. So let's grab our machine. This one. So here's, yep, you're going to take that off. They've got lots of little grid lines here. This is Better Press paper, and I've cut it to fit this banner die. So I know that it's going to, fit kind of in here. So what I'm going to do is, first we'll do the little glasses. This would be fun too for New Year's, I think. We're just going to put this on first and then we'll adjust them. And then we've got Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. And I know that I'm putting it on this third line down, so I kind of figured that out already. So whichever sentiments, we'll do that one after. And then I've got my paper. And if I want to just make sure, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because the first time I did it, I had it like this, and I felt like it was trying to go over that line, and it was not as smooth as I would have liked. So I'm actually going to pull this down onto this line and make it go this way. Does that make sense? And I felt like it just went in a little smoother. This is magnetic, so it's going to hold these plates. And then we are going to, we're just centering it, and I'm going to cut the die after, so if it's not exactly perfect with my paper, that's okay too. So I know that's kind of where I'm going to be at, and that will be where I have my paper. I've got a little bit of room to move. What you want to do first is you want to put on your paper. So I just eyeball where it's going to go, unless you have something really specific. Okay, so I know that that's going to fit if I put it about there. We want to take our Better Press or our yellow Spellbinders Best Ever Craft tape. And Erica, you can tape this on for me. So this is how it's going to go. And we just want a little piece at the top and a little piece at the bottom. We don't want it to overlap anything. So actually we're going to make it go this way. Like this. And then a little piece at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And we can just double check it again. We have to take that die out of there. And that's covering, I know that it's covering the die, so it's going to work. And I'm measuring and remeasuring because I feel like even though I measure things, they never work out straight. Okay, so we're going to just set this down here until we get everything inked. We are going to use the black Better Press ink, and that's going to be for our sentiment. The color combos. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's kind of fun to just mix those up. All right, so we're just going to press these on to this plate. And I usually go over it once, and then I pick up whatever color I'm going to use. So we'll use the tawny brown on this one, and we'll use the blue on that one, okay? And then I'm not rubbing it because that'll move the plates. I'm just dabbing it and almost like twisting it a little bit. And you do have a little bit of time to play with these. And I'm probably, over inking. You can't really over ink, but I'm sure I'm doing more than it's really needed. But I just want to make sure I have a good press because you're just going to put it through one time. You're not going to put it through and back. So we've got our paper is all taped, and that's why you do the paper first. It's going to click right into position. And then we're going to take our machine, our die cut machine, and literally all you do is make sure you have enough room, is you just wheel it through. There's really not much pressure. I can feel pressure when it goes over the plates, and I'm not going super fast because I want to make sure all the ink hits it, but you just go through once. Because if you go back again, if the plate has shifted, then it's going to move a little bit. And literally that is all there is to it. When you take it out, you're just making sure that you're not pressing down. This is the part that has the springs and presses your paper on to the background. So you just pull it out, and then I just pull it up from one of the sides, and then a look at that. So beautiful. It's like a perfect press. It really is. It's incredible when you do it and just see how nicely that presses down. And I don't know if you can see on camera, but it really has the detail of the impression. And then to clean up, I usually just take some water on my rag, and you can give it a wipe. That archival ink is permanent, so you are going to get some staining on the background, and that's fine. That's just you using it. The archival ink cleaner from Ranger actually does a pretty good job of wiping away any excess. So we'll usually just give that a quick wipe. I'll wipe my background, and what comes up, and what doesn't is going to stay. And then I just use some plain water again just to get off any residue of the cleaner. And that's it. So these you can use the same way. Now if you wanted to foil, you're going to put them in your glimmer machine and go ahead and glimmer them. And they glimmer perfectly as well. So for the next ones, we've got Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. And then the other one we'll do is this. I love this little, what do you call these? And this one says Believe in the Magic. And I think you could definitely mix and match the sentiments. So again, we're going to go on this line, and we can use our die just to see where we'd place it. This one is a little bit longer, but we have lots of room here. That's so pretty. I think we could go up a little bit higher because we are going to wrap a little bit of twine around those. So to me, that looks pretty good. And then sometimes the comments show for me, and then sometimes I feel like I have to press this iPad a million times before they show up. There we go. The foil and the letterpress are interchangeable. Cynthia, you can use any of your Better Press plates in your glimmer machine, but they are recommending that you don't put the glimmer plates in the Better Press. I haven't any archival inks on the plates. These are the ones that come for the machine. I believe that you can, but that's my personal opinion. So you could do a little bit of research on that. I would if it was me, but that's definitely just my opinion. And then the dies, foil and letterpress. You mean the dies? Which dies? Are you saying I wouldn't put any die cuts on this? You know how you can die cut, or you can use die cuts on your glimmer machine? I don't know if this is what you mean. That you can get the outline of the foil. I wouldn't use it in here because I think they're just a slightly maybe thicker, and I just think that maybe in tests that they did, they felt like it was a little too thick. But again, I mean, there's lots of information on YouTube, and you could definitely look for those little hacks and things like that. So here we are going, oh, this is why I put it here, so I can make sure I have my paper in the right spot. And I am a big believer in using your stuff and, unless there's something out there that says, don't do that, I think that, there's probably lots of ways to use our supplies. Okay, so here is our paper, and that should go right there. And I'm pretty sure that there's someone out there who's tested that. So for this one, and Cynthia, I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. The glimmer dyes that I buy for your foil machine. Yeah, so you can't use those in the better press, is what they're saying. They're saying that they're a tiny bit too thick. Again, you could do some research, but that's just what Spellbinders has said. And let's see, so we've got our paper down, we've got our better press plates, and we're going to use the French blue. And we're going to tap that on. And I think I can't get over how it's almost like a line art drawing, and that it goes on so beautifully. You can also use these inks for your stamping too, so you don't have to just keep them for your better press. They're archival inks, and you can use them for any of your permanent stamping that you need. And they are created by Ranger, so that's why, Glenda, I think that probably it's fine. All right, so we've got that inked up. We're going to go ahead, put that on. Okay, we are going to run this through. Do you want to run this through, Erica? You want to run this through? Okay, so we're just setting this here. We're being careful not to press that spring plate down. Just push this in. There we go. It's going to go through. Just go slowly because it will shake the camera. And then don't go backwards. Just keep going through. Perfect. Okay. Normally you wouldn't have it on a table where you had to move your die cut machine. You would just pull this base out. Okay, and then again, we'll just lift it up, and oh, that's so pretty. I really love this one, and I was going to do some foiling, and then I'll clean that off after, but I did not get my foil machine out in time, so I will definitely use these for foiling. So pretty, and can you see that impression? All right, so we'll set that aside, and then we can color these, and then we'll just use our banner die to cut them out. So these are really quick and easy to color. We've got this one. I don't think you'd even have to. You could do a little bit of watercolor here if you felt like it, even something shimmery. I don't think that's going to stretch enough. And let's see, what do you guys think should be? I think these are martinis, but I don't really know the color of martinis. Is it just clear? Or should we just make them a fun color and just make up our own martini design or color? Okay, let's see. So for these pencils, they're watercolor pencils. Sometimes I want to call them crayons. We've done several videos on them, and they have pigment throughout your whole pencil. Like, I think it would take a lifetime to use this up. And how I like to use them, I have a water brush. I usually have a paper towel, a piece of tissue on the side so I can dip or wipe off my pencil. Let's start with the tree because I don't know what color to color the martini. They can be a different kind of cocktail. That's right. Hello, Diane. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a martini. Okay, so various colors, Irene says. Clear unless they're dirty and then they're cloudy. Okay, well, these watercolor pencils are a little cloudy, so they will be dirty. Dirty martinis. Yes, Diane. I have Erica here helping me today, and she came home from school with a sore belly, but it seems to have resolved. So let's see here. I've got here set 1 and set 3. But if you're looking for set, I think those are both in the shop. If you're looking for set number 2, it says out of stock, but you can certainly email Sandy at scrapshotz.com, and she can order that in for you, or put your email in to be notified. So if we're doing the tree, and then don't forget, this is kind of our background for this one. So just kind of, I guess, keeping in mind what we want our tree to be like, we could, I think that this color would still go. We could even do a little bit of maybe this and this color, or we could even do like a blue with the darker blue that we used here. But you know what, let's go with these. So this one here is peacock feathers, and how I like to use these is I figured out that I really like to just grab the color with my water brush. Now, if your water brush is not wet enough, you can squeeze it off to the side. As soon as you get the wetness onto that pigment, it works really well, and you'll see that there's actually quite a bit of pigment. I need to sit down so I can actually see what I'm doing. Maybe we'll just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, she's feeling better. Just in time for the long weekend. I feel like this is like, okay, there we go. I never know with updates on Facebook whether it's, going to be some kind of new, I feel like every time I come on, there's some kind of new thing. So you can layer the color. You can see how easily that goes on. And this better press paper is actually really nice to watercolor on. So I've got blue, which is fine. We're going to add a little bit of detail. So I always, if I'm switching colors, I just dab the color off, and then I'll pick up the new color. And because this is already wet, it's kind of mixing in. If we wanted to layer the color, then we would just let that color dry or use our heat gun. And then I know that just by dabbing that, that's going to be cleaned off. Okay, and then we're going to put a little bit of something, maybe like, what color is this? Hickory smoke. We'll do hickory smoke for the base. And there's lots of ways to use these pencils. You can go directly on, but especially because these images are so nice and tiny, then it works really well to just pick it up with a fine water brush. And what we'll do is grab a little bit of this tumbled glass, and that's going to just be a little bit of our shadow in our little, I want to say like a cloche, but I don't know if that's how you say it. I don't know if I just read it that way and in my mind it's that way, or if that's really what it's called. And we have a tiny bit of a tree stem. Let's see, we'll go with walnut stain. You could just leave this pressed with the color, but I think that you can get a really nice result just by adding a little bit of watercolor. And to me, that's kind of the fun in doing it as well. All right, and then the eat, drink, and be merry, that's going to be, so this background is going to be with that. This one I thought would be with this. So we'll do something, I think that kind of goes with that olive color theme. So we'll do peeled paint. And I don't know, we'll just kind of decide what we're doing here. Maybe we could bring even in a little bit of that mica stain and paint with that. Our unraveled. So if you're painting with this, I'm just going to shake it up. You can spray a little bit on the side. Just want to make sure you shake it and get it all mixed up. Or you can add just a little bit. Now, we don't want to spill it because like Tamara said, if it's open, it's probably going to spill. So I would just put a little dab on the side and then I can just pick it up. You could add some water to it if you felt like you wanted it to be a little more watered down. But then we've got a little bit of sparkle in here. And I should probably let that olive dry before I actually paint beside it, but that's okay. All right, and then we've got a little bit of sparkly drink, which I think is fun. And I could put like a little bit of shading in there, but I don't even think I'm going to. We'll just wipe that up. And then we'll give this a little bit of a dry, just to make sure before we put it through our die cut machine. The watercolor pencils dry really quickly, and the mica stain probably takes a little bit longer, but we'll leave that for a second. Okay, let's zoom back out again. And here's a look at the car. The car was fun to color. So I colored that up with pink, and then I did blue, yellow, and green for the presents. And I stamped it with the wild berry. And then the sparkle and shine, that was stamped with the saffron. And again, I think you could take some of those mica stains and you could add something, or you can just leave it, and we'll add a little bit of stickles. So we'll grab our die cut machine and our banner. And I love using this tape. I find that I can use it like probably 10 times through my machine, and before it loses its stick. I think that looks okay. So we'll just stick that on there just to keep it in place. And we will just run this through the die cut machine. So has anybody started their Christmas cards? If you have Better Press, are you using it for any Halloween cards? There's some really cute Halloween, you want to push that through? Really cute Halloween Better Press plates too. Okay, I'm going to give you the other one and you can run it through, okay? So there's our little Believe in the Magic. It might be a tiny bit crooked, but that's okay. And then we've got our Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. This is really cute. This too could be, like, I think this could be a wedding. This could be New Year's. Okay. There, you can run it through. We've got our card base. I feel like I've done lots of, demo cards. So I have a few cards here and there, but I think I need to maybe use these just to make a bunch of cards, because you know how you always seem, I like having some really special cards, but then I need some that are a little more generic that I can just give out and not feel like I'm worried whether people will keep them. So just put it back on. So we're just going to press this down, and this My Sweet Petunia glue press, if you haven't seen it, it is amazing. So it comes in a box. Let me just grab the box. Oh, could you grab me that pink box? I think it's so well designed. So you get the precision glue press. You get a full bottle of the Tonic Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, which is a really good adhesive. You get an empty bottle. So there's also the empty bottle and another cover. And then you can use this to refill whatever glue you have, liquid glue at home. And all you do is pop your glue into this holder, and then the pressure of the handle actually presses in, and you use a lot less pressure, number one, to glue anything on. Here, let's do this one. And then secondly, it always keeps it, you've got this holder, it keeps your glue upside down. I know when my liquid glue starts to get a little bit low, that sometimes I have to find a place to kind of prop it up upside down. You get a really thin line of glue, and this glue really sticks well. So that's going to stick that onto there and it won't move. But if you have especially those really thin die cuts that you want to glue on, it works wonderfully. So there's two different size covers. There's the really thin one that I have here, and this is really good too if you want to put any kind of embellishments on. And let's do our last one here. And then it doesn't clog up. And I find too, what I like about this is that if I'm using liquid glue, I don't want to just leave the cover off, especially if it's a really small nozzle. So I'm constantly putting the cover on, taking the cover off, and I don't have to. I just put it in the holder. So I was very excited to try that. I think look what I just did. I glued it on. Sorry. I took it off before. I think we might have to use a new card base for that. So I'm so excited about the gluing that we've got a two-sided card. And the other thing that I like about liquid glue is that you can remove it. I think, you know what, we're not even going to worry about that, and we'll just pretend that didn't happen.
No one will see.
Nobody will see. All right, you have time to move things around if you put things in the wrong spot, which is great. So we've got our colored images, and we could have colored the cups, but we decided to leave those. I'm not sure. Obviously, that's bugging me a little bit, but we'll leave that. Then we need a little bit of twine, so let's see what will match. We've got this one. I have lots of cards where I have put like the card front on the wrong side and it opens backwards, and it happens when you're having so much fun making your card. I like just adding this little bit of twine. I feel like you could add more of a maybe a gold thread or something like that, but I think the twine looks kind of fun too, especially with that evergreen background. And then there's one more thing I want to show you that I should have done before I glued them down, but we'll live dangerously. Okay, so let's tie these on first. So that'll be cute there, hey? This one could be more of like a blue. And I'm just wrapping these around twice. I don't know, does anybody else have a bin of twine that just seems to last forever? And then what I normally will do, we're going to put a little bit of foam tape on the back, but I also like to add just a little bit of glue kind of right under the bow so that the bow doesn't get pulled off. There we go. And I'll probably just come back and press those down a couple times. We could cut a little bit. So that will be for that. And then this one I wasn't sure. It kind of, I guess we could use the yellow, or we could even go with a black. But if I wasn't doing kind of this set of them, I think I would go with the sparkly black, but only because I think that would look nice. But because I feel like we're kind of making a set here, that we should keep it consistent, if that makes sense. And then I usually, because I'm tying the bow, but I want to catch that bottom piece, I'm actually just tying it around both pieces. Okay. So I think there's lots of different options. You could just use a hemp twine as well. You could do something that was just sparkly. You could do ribbon. I guess I'm just keeping it kind of consistent. So before we add these on, I'm just going to check your comments here. You'll be adding that to your Christmas wish list. Nice, Lori. Have one in your cart. Yeah. I would say that is definitely something that, oh yes, the glue eraser. I do have that. I have a little bit of a sand eraser, so I think that'll just take that off. Hello, Julie. How are you? So before we put everything on, what I decided to do here, just because after I had this card kind of partially done, then I was watching Jennifer McGuire's video, and she was doing spraying and embossing folders with the mica stains. So be sure to watch that if you're wanting more inspiration. But she took the her inks, and then she actually, I don't know what ink she used. I think she used a dye ink, but I thought I'll just grab these inks here and we will actually highlight the raised images. So I'm just going to be careful not to go onto my white card. So all I've got is some ink. You can kind of see it. And I'm just going on to hit the high points. I don't know, we might have to go on with a black because the brown isn't super noticeable. I can tell, but oh yeah, I can see it. You can kind of see that it's highlighting those spots. So you could use whatever ink you have handy. Because I had this, I figured we may as well just use it. This kind of reminds me of like a vintage photo color. So it's just hitting those high points and then just highlighting that embossing folder even more. And then let's just wipe it off a little bit before we get the black on it. You can just wash this off after, or use a little bit of rubbing alcohol, or even a little bit of that archival ink cleaner. And I'm not going to worry about it too much because I'm going from brown to black, but if I was going into like the pink ink, then I would make sure that it was completely clean. So this is the black, and then we'll just use that. So I'm not pressing too hard, I'm just pressing fairly light. And a lot of this background too, it's going to be covered with our little panel, but I feel like this just really adds a little bit of detail, especially too to these areas that are a little bit lighter. Thank you. Erica's under the table, so she just passed me the ink, so it was very helpful. So there's the green, and I think it looks good either way, but I thought it would just be fun to see what it looked like with a little bit of those branches highlighted. And I suppose having your ink on something like the media grip mat or something, that's going to keep it from flying off of your desk. So, all right, I think that's good. There. That's so pretty too, hey? Alrighty, so we've got our backgrounds done. Now we can just go ahead and add on our foam tape. I've got this big roll of the scrapbook adhesives by 3L. A smaller scent, oh yeah, it is pretty, isn't it? It's hard to cover up the background. Yeah, she always has great techniques. Sometimes I find it hard to have her videos just on in the background because I feel like I'm missing something if I'm not sitting there and watching it. I feel like I've missed this amazing technique she's trying to teach because I just have it on in the background. So I love how easy the backing is to come off of this tape. All right, we've got that one. This one is actually going to be on the green. I was just going to make one of them, but then they're so cute that I thought, well, you have everything out. Why not just make a bunch of them? And then we have our sparkle and shine. So what does everybody have planned for the Thanksgiving weekend if you are celebrating Thanksgiving this weekend? I'm going to cook a turkey on, I've been liking cooking my turkey the day before so that the Sunday I'll probably have dinner, and then if when I'm making dinner the turkey's cooked and it's already cut up and it just seems like it's one less thing to kind of worry about, because you know how at the end when you're making turkey dinner and everything is just ready at once at the end and then you're trying to organize it all. And then my oldest daughter might come over on Monday with her husband. And so if they do, then we'll just have turkey leftovers, which is my favorite part of Thanksgiving. And is that your favorite part too, Erica?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there we go. I think definitely, and look what I just did, because I didn't wipe that up. Honestly, today is one of those days. So I'm not going to glue this down because I'm going to try and use my hands are dirty. I'm going to use my hands are dirty, my little eraser, and I'm going to either get that off or I'm going to redo it before I actually glue it down. So that's your other tip for today, is don't put your stuff on surfaces that are still inky. So here is a look at all of these cards, and we will touch those up. That is a normal occurrence for me. So I love this little pink car. I think you could do that in any color, and obviously we could have any color of, thanks, white gel pen. That's right. I use the white gel pen a lot. And then sequins are a great way to cover up any kind of, smudges. I'm thinking that that'll come right off. But anyway, either way, it's going to be okay. And then we'll use, these are the crystal stickles. So we'll use these and just put a few little dots. They're clear, but they're sparkly. So we can just add them right over those little details. And once they dry, you're still going to see the details through, but you're also going to see the sparkle. And we could add a little bit of a red pen, maybe right to that olive, or even a little red sparkle. And then what I'll do is I'll come back in here and I'll actually add the stickles to the little sparkles. I really, really love this one. And on this one too, I'll just add all the little sparkles. And then I was thinking I could put a gem in the center, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Gem or no gem in the center? Anyway, that is a look at the mica stains, the Christmas icons from Better Press, and this set of Better Press inks. And hopefully that answered some questions about using the Better Press and also that precision glue press, which definitely would be on my recommended items. So I hope that you guys have an amazing weekend, especially if you're celebrating Thanksgiving. You would put a star. That's a good idea. I'll look for a star. Little star, maybe a star gem. That would be very cute. Or a die cut. Yeah. So Janice says, yes, go for more glitter. And Glenda says, no gem. Interesting. All right. Well, I will definitely take a picture. You like the idea of Cynthia Starr? I'll take a picture and I'll post it on the Scrap Shotz Facebook page. And hopefully you guys have, yeah, an amazing weekend. And then I will see you next week. I don't think there's anything. Oh, our embossing challenge actually started in the Scrap Shotz paper crafting group, so this would fit for that. So maybe I'll post it in there too for you to see. But there'll be a winner. Cynthia, I think that you won, didn't you? Won last month. Post your embossed projects. They could be heat embossed, they could be dry embossed, whatever you want, whatever kind of embossing you want. And then there'll be a winner chosen at the end of the month for a $25 gift card to Scrap Shotz. And yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you guys later, guys. Thank you. So, oh, you did win. Good. Congratulations. Thanks so much for popping in and hanging out with me. Bye.
Bye.